2-0 lead.
That's what you need. The Flyers have been getting goals in the dirty areas, which is great. You need those to be successful, but you also need to be able to score off the rush. And that's been demonstrated here on a couple of occasions tonight and in the last couple of games.
Yeah, and he's having himself a really good season. Even when TK hasn't ended up on the score sheet, I feel like he's impacted games.
Yeah.
Whether that's, this maybe sound weird. Maybe it's on the PK one night. Maybe it's on the power play. Maybe it's 5-on-5. Maybe it's a defensive play. He's still not the greatest defensive player. He's not going to be up for a Selke. But I feel like he's been so much more impactful in key moments Konechny has. And, Torch talks about that a lot, Bri. It's not that you do something. Sometimes it's when you do it in the game.
Right.
And I feel like he's been there for those key moments.
We had hoped that we would see him creeping back toward the all-star caliber season that he had a few years ago. Speaking of all-stars, Steve Coates is in the room. Welcome.
There is a bar here.
So that made it 2-0. And then what I think might have been the backbreaker here, Jay.
He just said, wait, there is a bar here? I had no idea.
It's like moss to a flame, folks. It just happens. Noah Cates, 3 seconds left in the second period. The beneficiary, again, of some nice passing from Scotty Lawton to Travis Sanheim, finding Noah Cates on the doorstep to make it 3-0.
Back to Noah Cates now in the corner. He's wrapped up along the wall. Thomas can't clear. Lawton can't find it. The Blues do. And to the line, held in by Scott Lawton. Lawton's got a man in front. Here's Sanheim in front. They score! Noah Cates on a great goal bound pass by Sanheim. And Noah Cates has his second goal of the year. 3-0 Flyers.
From Sanheim and Lawton, 19:57, the official time of that goal. I believe it was scored with 3.0 exactly left in the period.
Correct.
And that made it 3-0 Flyers
Great
after
awareness.
2. Again, you were talking about it. That goal happens because Travis Sanheim recognizes, hey, there's not enough time for them down the ice. I'm going to jump in this play.
Yeah, I can sacrifice my positioning because there's no way that they can get about 158 feet with a puck and get a scoring chance because I know there's only 5 seconds when you make the decision to go to that spot. And it was great game and clock awareness. First, by Scott Lawton. Second, by Sanheim to jump down there and give him the option. And then third, by Noah Cates to put himself in a great spot right by the net. And great passing leads to a great goal. And I think an important one for Noah Cates because he hasn't scored since that Tampa game.
Yeah.
I think that's a big goal for him. I know he was, the number 2 star tonight. So good on him.
So that made it 3-0 Flyers after 2. The Blues got their only goal, 5:22 into the third period. Ryan O'Reilly picking up his second of the year. And at that point, you're a little bit nervous because you don't like those 2-goal leads. They're just not that fun to have. They're better than a 1-goal lead, but they do make you a little bit nervous. However, less than 2 minutes later, about a minute and a half to be exact, Lucas Sedlak picks up his first goal as a Flyer, tips this one home off the feed from Nick Seeler to restore that all-important 3-goal lead.
McEwen trying to control with his skate, protects it down low. Back out left point, Cedar shot in front. They score! Nick Cedar got it in front, and Sedlak scores on the backhand. His first goal in the Flyer uniform. Lucas Sedlak gets it right back for Philadelphia.
Sedlak from Seeler and Cates on your bingo card?
I did not.
No?
Damn it. I wanted that on my bingo card.
6:44 the time of that goal in the third period. Sedlak first as a Flyer. He seems to thrive so far here in Philadelphia.
He makes little savvy plays, and Torch was wondering, hey, I like the player. I like his structure. He knows what I want, blah, blah, blah. But can he still get there? Are the legs still there at the NHL speed? And I haven't seen anything to indicate that they're not. Have you?
No, not at all.
No, I like the player. Yeah.
So that made it 4-1 at that point, and then putting the cherry on top with less than a minute to play, Owen Tippett.
Yeah.
This was a beauty for his third of the year to make it 5-1.
Broken up at center ice. Konechny dishes it over to Tippett. Tippett shoots and a save. The rebound. He scores! There was no rebound. It bounced over the shoulder of Price and ends up in the net. And Owen Tippett gives the Flyers the 5-1 lead.
Tippett from Konechny, 1921. I think my daughter's done hockey practice. Maddie is listening. You need to go watch this goal and learn to shoot like this. Holy smokes. I mean, just in stride, just a little bit of a pullback, and he wires it. This is the kind of thing that we knew Owen Tippett for when he was acquired last year. And, this, in addition to everything else that he's doing, is making it look good.
Yeah, and he's playing with two players. We talked about him earlier with TK and Hayes that I feel like all three players are vastly different, but they complement each other very well. And Tip can skate, but you're right. That's why he was drafted in the first round, is the ability to shoot the puck. And we know that he's being coached to shoot.
Yeah.
Because they talked about it. They need him to be that kind of player. And, well, he just snaps that one right off the toe of the blade and disguises it a little bit. Maybe use the defender a little bit. I'm not sure. I'd love to see a little bit different angle of it to see if he pulled it in closer to his feet, which makes it pretty tough for the goaltender to read as well. But that's just good release. It's just a really good release, and it fools Grice enough, who makes the initial save, but not enough to get enough of it to keep it out of the net. And I like that they kept pounding here all the way to the end of this game. Like, you're up 4-1. You could have just kind of sat back, but no, they kept attacking. That's a team that's feeling good right now. And I know that this loss for St. Louis after last night losing 3-1 and coming in here tonight, and things are really bad for them right now, that loss is crushing.
Yeah,
on a back-to-back to get outscored 8-2 in the last two nights, and you're not going well. That's a tough spot for them. But hey, I hope they straighten it out.
Yeah,
just glad they didn't tonight.
They can just straighten it out until the Flyers go there.
And this wasn't about them. This was about the Flyers.
Yeah, absolutely. Flyers outshoot the Blues 35-28. They only get the one power play opportunity, and it didn't even last a minute. It was only 50 seconds long. So no power play goals for the Flyers today, but they didn't need it for once to win the game. You mentioned the 3 stars. Travis Konechny, the number 3 star. Noah Cates was the number 2 star. And Felix Sandstrom earns his first NHL win. He is the number 1 star of the game with 27 saves on 28 shots. We'll break down Felix Sandstrom's game and a lot more about this contest when we come back. We're going to take our break. We'll be back with more here on the Postgame Show, live from the East Food Hall at Wells Fargo Center. The Flyers win it big tonight over the St. Louis Blues by a final of 5-1. Back with more in just a moment here on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network.
This is Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the Flyers Broadcast Network.
Hey, Flyer fans, this is Keith Jones. You can trust the
Here's hockey, 97.5 The Fanatic.
WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station.
This is the Flyers postgame show with Jason Bertidis and Brian Smith on the Flyers Broadcast Network.
Postgame show rolls on here at Wells Fargo Center, live from the East Food Hall, as the Flyers beat the St. Louis Blues tonight 5-1. Second win in a row for the Flyers, and they are, like we were saying before, got an opportunity here to string a few together over these next 4 games. Ottawa coming in on Saturday. They got Columbus on Thursday before that, but Ottawa Saturday and Dallas on Sunday before, I believe, the next after that is another trip to Columbus. The only thing worse than going to Columbus once is going there twice, but they get to do that.
Anything worse than going to Columbus is going to Buffalo.
Yeah, well, especially depending on the time of year. Yeah. So, this is a Flyers team that is clicking at the right time here, and hopefully they find a way to continue to build off this, because the Ottawa game, they gave up that first goal early, and then were able to recover and pretty much control the play there. And then this one here tonight strikes me as being another step beyond that. If we
get their best game of the year,
yeah, they can figure out some consistency here, keep this rolling. This is a good stretch for them coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you come into this game tonight, heading into the NHL card tonight. St. Louis came in with a 31st ranked points percentage in the league at 300. The only team with a worse points percentage than them is the opponent on Thursday in Columbus. Johnny Gaudreau, Patrick Laine, Zach Werenski, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. They have been miserable.
You fire off names like that, and then you fire off names with this team like Vladimir Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly, and you just don't think it's possible.
Yeah, you don't.
Where we're at.
Yeah, it's a bananas league. I'm telling you right, it's so bizarre this year. And the Flyers right now on the season, 12 games played, they've got 16 points. I'm trying to look back last year to their game log to see how long it took them to get 16 points. Now, they got off to a decent start, 7-2-1 start last year as well. But last year, I'm trying to see how long it took them to get there. So they had 5 points, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. That was on the 6th of October, or November, rather. Mm-hmm. And then they finally got their 16th point of the season on the 12th of November last year. So they're in about the same area.
Right.
12 games in. Can you believe that?
Yeah. And, you just
holy cow.
Now we look forward and try to make sure that the trajectory continues as opposed to what happened last year.
Yeah, because after that game, they lost one against Dallas. Oddly enough, we'll see Dallas this week. And then they won one over Calgary in overtime here, which was the retirement night, I believe, for Talk. Wasn't it? They had that 2-1 win, and then they had, looks like about a 10-game losing streak.
I have lost track of what year it was, but the one year the Flyers won 10 in a row in the first half of the season there, it was in November into December. That got ended by the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
And then they lost 10 in a row, I think. Yeah. So maybe Dallas is the giant pothole here that the Flyers have to hop over. I don't know. But they'll take some solace tonight again in that we talked about it before the game. Felix Sandstrom, they're looking for him to make the saves he needs to make, and then maybe a few he shouldn't. And he pulls that off tonight and demonstrating now that he can do it at the NHL level. That could be a boon for this team moving forward, because they know that when they get to these back-to-backs and they switch up the goaltending, that they've got the capable guy back there that can show that he's done it.
Well, here's the deal: you got to win tonight, and it wasn't Carter Hart stealing it.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that Sandstrom didn't steal it. Your team scored 5 goals. You damn well better win when you do that,
right?
But he only gave up 1. And I talked to him. It'll be on tomorrow's Flyers Daily right after the game downstairs. And you couldn't wipe the smile off his face with a baseball bat. And I asked him, I said, Brian, there's a lot of doubt that creeps in for a goalie. It's an incredibly position built on confidence and swagger and predictability and technical and all of those things. But when you were drafted in 2015, there's only one net. It's not like a forward where you can have 16 or 18 skaters playing a game. There's a lot of sitting around watching. And whether that's when you first come over and you end up in the East Coast League, there's no glory in playing in the East Coast League. You got to love it, and you got to be driven to get here to play in the Coast, and then to play in the AHL, and then to get up here last year. You start to doubt. I mean, he signed a contract to go back home this summer, but ultimately ended up signing a 2-year extension here. And you start to doubt, am I ever going to win a game at the NHL level, the best league in the world? And for that to happen tonight, I'm really happy for him. Because, again, you could not wipe the smile off his face. It was full value for the win. He got a win in the NHL. The rest is gravy.
Yep.
He did what he set out to do. It's hard to be a goalie because you just don't get a lot of opportunity. And he had an opportunity tonight with a team that was rested, and he went out and he did his job, and he got a win. So congrats to him on that.
Wish I could tell all those guys that do that at the ECHL level that when you do get the NHL, the one thing you'll have that you wouldn't have had otherwise is a lot of good stories to tell.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of goalies have come that route.
Yeah.
Really good. Jonathan Quick won 2 Stanley Cups. I think he was the best goalie on the planet for a period of time, about 4 or 5 years. And where did he play? He played at UMass Amherst, and then he went to the Reading Royals, and he made his way to the NHL and won a couple of cups and won a Conn Smythe. So it's not an easy path. It's not this glory path that you just take, especially when you come out of the college game or you come from playing in the Swedish Elite League. It's tough. And I mean, to get that win, I can't imagine what that feels like for him, because I imagine it's huge for his confidence too. He was good in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And
he said he did not get a piece of it, by the way.
Did not? Oh, the one that hit the crossbar?
Yeah, I asked. I said, well, you affected it.
Well,
he said, oh, I did do that.
It was the force, right?
Swedish force.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think a lot of guys are going to come away from this game tonight with a little bit of confidence, a little bit of swagger. And
I'm one of them.
You're one of them?
Yep.
Yeah. You'll be going to defeat that cough before you know it.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
We'll see.
I'm losing that battle. I haven't even won one of the battles yet there.
We'll see how this carries over. There is some travel. They do go to a Columbus team that is struggling now, but they have a cannon that nobody else has.
Let's not hear it.
And we'd like to hear it. Coates would love not to hear it. So Thursday, and keep this momentum going in what is a hostile arena, despite the fact that the team's not doing too well. I think they got something going.
Well, there's an interesting storyline there. Gaudreau wanted to come here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in the cards for a litany of reasons, which we don't even need to go into again. We've discussed that ad nauseum. But he chose Columbus. And I'm happy he chose Columbus because everybody leaves Columbus, nobody goes. And I'm happy for that city. I think they deserve it. I think it's a good hockey town and an underrated city. But there's a storyline there. And not only that, I mean, Torts is going back to where he coached for 6 years. So I think there's a lot there. I wish Atkinson was going with the Flyers to return back there. Unfortunately, that does not look like it's in the cards right now. But I think that's going to be a really interesting game come Thursday. And the Flyers got to be feeling really good about their game. I'm going to be interested to hear what Torts says about this game, because I know he's not going to want his guys to start getting a little full in themselves, thinking everything's fixed and everything's hunky-dory and, hey, we're good. A lot of times, and I'm not sure how Torts handles these situations. A lot of times, Bri, it's always been my mentality on a way to motivate players on the team at any level is that when things are going poorly is when you hug them. This is today's athlete. And when things are going well, you kick the crap out of them because you don't want it to slip. I don't know if that's how Torts operates in this spot. I think everything's a little bit different, all things considered. But he's not going to want to let things slip, especially because an arrogance of, hey, we've arrived, we're better than we thought, we told you so, and we're showing you, haha, look at us, you were wrong. You're not going to want that to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to let that happen.
Just a couple of closing numbers here to look at before we wrap things up. Things jumping out at me off the score sheet. Scott Lawton took 28 faceoffs tonight.
Yeah, that's not by mistake.
14 for 14. 7 hits for Wade Allison. 4 of them in the first period. 6 hits for Zach McEwen. And the one thing that, everything Noah Cates is doing so well, goal and an assist, I'm sure that eventually he will get to maybe working on some faceoffs at the NHL level 0 for 8, but I would imagine that a good bit of that was at the hands of Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Carey, both sure guys that are very well seasoned at it. Ryan O'Reilly 12 for 15 tonight, and Noel Carey was 6 for 7. So that'll come. But
I thought we talked about Risto.
Yeah.
I thought Risto had a good game. I thought he over pursued one play, but the situation wasn't detrimental when he did it.
Yeah.
He almost killed a man. I mean, he went at him with reckless abandon and a lot of size and speed and power. And I was like, uh-oh. He didn't catch him completely, but I guarantee every player on that St. Louis Blues team saw it. And we're like, uh-oh. If I'm coming by that blue line, might want to be careful. That's what he does.
Still had a little bit of the shot on goal, obviously, was an advantage of the Flyers, but they're 64 shots allowed tonight to the Blues to just
attempts is that?
Yeah, shot attempts. Yes, I should say, and that's compared to just a total of about 50 for the Flyers. So that is something that they're chipping away at it. But on a night like tonight, when you give
not
up,
threatening it,
none of them were threatened, so they were able to quiet it down. So
yeah. Hey, look, listen. Here's the deal. Enjoy the win.
Yeah,
enjoy
absolutely.
It.
Yep.
I mean, that was an enjoyable game.
Yep.
Enjoyable result. Enjoyable process. We'll take it. We'll see if Carter Hart's back on Thursday, and we'll bring it all to you.
All right. We're going to put a bow on this one. That will be our next broadcast is Thursday night here on the Flyers Broadcast Network, and that game will be on 93.3 WMMR as our flagship, as well as on Flyers Radio 24/7 and everywhere else you can find Flyers hockey. We'd like to thank a few people for their efforts tonight. Dan Fritz was our engineer back at the studio, and our engineers, of course, here in the East Food Hall. Betsy Deming was upstairs taking care of things with Timmy and Coatsy, and Tom Albert was on our highlights tonight. He was a busy guy in the last couple of periods. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, and Jason Martinez, I'm Brian Smith saying so long. Once again, final score here tonight was the Philadelphia Flyers 5 and the St. Louis Blues 1. We'll talk to you on Thursday night. Flyers and the Columbus Blue Jackets, 7 o'clock here along the Flyers Broadcast Network.
This is